Right, g'day, hi and welcome. Got a little bushcraft tip for you. So if you were lost in the bush or something, you gotta, I don't know if I can get to there without getting a soaker. But anyway, we got cattails. You can see how poofy the cattail down is. I don't want to grab it too much, but it's just like basically like insulation. Hopefully that's in the camera frame. And you could insulate yourself with this. You could use it as bedding. And if you light it up, that will catch fire faster than anything, especially if you kind of like spread it out a bit. I won't do it today, but maybe a little later on. I'll collect some stuff and show you how to light a proper bush fire. You got some mullein there. That stuff will go up like a freaking, especially dried mullein. That stuff, that's a magic plant right there. Yeah, so other thing too is if you're going to be into bushcraft, get used to rubbing your gloves against spruce and pine and stuff like that, mainly spruce, because it takes your scent off of things. Other tips: do not touch trees when you're walking through the bush. Why? Well, I'll show you the evidence. If we look at all these treetops and trees that are down on the ground here, the wind will break them, but a lot of them you can see there's one dead tree hanging into the other tree. So when you shake a tree, that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back, which could break your head. Like that tree is going to come down at some point. So don't be afraid to look up. But those cattails, very useful thing. You can eat them as survival food. I wouldn't try it in the spring. I've heard mixed emotions about the potato at the bottom in, to dig it out. Cattails are very labor intensive to get. You can't just pull them out of the mud easily most of the time. When I hear cracking like that, it's like I've had trees come down close, like in the wind, especially on a windy day. I've had them come close. But cattails, the thing about them is that, yeah, the shoots are edible. You can make flour with the actual cattail itself. You put it in a bag and you beat the crap out of it, and you'll get like a powder, and you can make bannock with it. Bannock is kind of like what the buck skinners and the voyageurs and the fur trade guys and whatever back in the day, what they used to do, and the natives and stuff like that, it was they make this bannock, which is like a bread. Think of it like a tea biscuit. It can be very dry. It can be very my dad made bannock quite a few times, depending on what you make it out of, right? But it was a source of subsistence for particularly like native peoples and stuff like that, and settlers and whatever back in the day. But very labor intensive collecting it all. That's the thing, is this time of year is everything is dead, right? We don't get new life until spring. Like this is the dead time of the year. So it's very hard to get nutrients this time of year. But and of course solid nutrients and stuff like that. But cattails are a very, very useful tool almost. You could start fires with them. Dead cattail down, you can make insulation, use it as kindling, whatever, or to start the kindling. You can do a lot with it. And of course the fresh cattail bulb, as I call it, can be used to make flour and stuff like that when they're that's more near the end of the season though. Like you have to harvest them when they're ready to harvest and stuff like that. You'll have to do a little bit of research on that. And again, you could eat the shoots. Now mind you, everything in early spring is really, really bitter. Extremely bitter. Speaking of bitter, let's talk about poplar trees next, I think. There we go.